you on? Hand sanitizer.
So, welcome back. It's amazing to see your faces. The production of Gavroche was supposed to have its opening night on April 16th. So early in March, when the pandemic started to become a thing, where we started to get inklings and ideas that we were going into this lockdown situation. My cast members had been rehearsing since January, and we were just in the middle of rehearsals. We had blocked Act 1, we had blocked a bit of Act 2, and we were just at the ending stages of finishing, and everything stopped.
So we were actually at Gavroche rehearsal when we got the news that school would be canceled, and
oh my God,
yeah, we were here. Little did we know that would be the last real rehearsal that we were actually going to be at.
True. I remember Jennifer was like, "Oh, I can't imagine it'll be that bad that we would have to shut down StarStruck and not do Gavroche." And then we got an email saying Gavroche was going to be on Zoom, and that was really hard to hear, because it's my senior year, it was going to be my last show. I was super excited to take my final bow at StarStruck, and it had to be canceled, and I didn't know if I was going to have an opportunity to do it because I wouldn't be here next year.
I couldn't be with my friends and actually perform on the stage where I love the most. I had to stay in my room and do a Zoom call with my director, and I just love the energy of being on the theater, on stage. It's just a different vibe and different energy, so I felt very limited.
I tried to lift their spirits by telling them that change is inevitable. It's something that we have to learn to deal with in life in general, and certainly as artists, to remain flexible and adaptable. And I promised them that the show would absolutely go on. I couldn't tell them when, but I knew that at some point we would be together singing this gorgeous music again and telling this amazing story.
They never gave up on us. They didn't just say, okay, classes are temporarily stopping, you know, maybe we'll get back to doing the show. They promised from day one. They said, we're doing the show, and, you know, in whatever format that takes, if it's film, if it's over Zoom, we're going to do it.
Finally, we got the go-ahead from the governor of Florida that things were able to open up again. Some of the safety stuff that we implemented, we actually purchased lanyards for them, purple lanyards, because purple is StarStruck's signature color. And they came with their mask on. They have the lanyards so that never, if they take the mask off for a second to sip water or anything that they're doing, they never put the mask down. So that's something that is implemented. They have to wear that lanyard every day, so the mask is always with them and on their personal body. All of the doors at StarStruck are now permanently magnetized and open, so no one ever has to touch a door or a door handle. We have a hospital grade, it's like a fogger, and we spray it. It hits every single surface, and that is used, I think, twice a day at this point. So there are just so many things that we are doing.
Hello, Bonnie Gleicher!
Oh my gosh, how does it feel to be back?
How does it feel to be back? Someone raise their hand and tell her. How does it feel? Isa.
It feels amazing to be back because we've been gone for like so long, and now we're finally back and we're all together again. And how does it feel to sing? How does it feel to sing in a theater?
Nice. Instead of the shower.
Gavroche tells the story of a young boy living on the streets who joins the rebellion during the French Revolution and inspires the whole rebellion through his passion for the cause and through his youth.
The story of Gavroche is incredibly poignant right now because of what we're going through in our country and in the world. It's a time that we really have to persevere.
You know, there's a lot of violence going on in the world right now between the people and the government. And that is, of course, incredibly relevant to Gavroche and his story because, you know, it's a group of civilian rebels who are trying to uprise against the government and change the way things are, which is very relevant nowadays.
There's a song called Hold On. When the kids in the cast sing it, it's done with so much passion, and you can just sense their angst and their desire for being together as a community of young artists, and the idea of holding on and braving through these difficult times is very important to them and very real to them now. And certainly at the time of the French Revolution, which is when Gavroche takes place, those characters from Victor Hugo's novel, they had to hold on and figure out the next step in their lives.
So actually they have a little something for you. You ready?
Oh, yeah!
Even when the fight is slowing, even when the pain is growing, hold on, hold on. Even when you fear tomorrow, even when you're lost in sorrow, hold on, hold on. Even as the world feels fragile, even as the hope is fragile, hold on, hold on.
So we're all interning here at StarStruck this summer, and one thing I think we can all agree upon that's really unique is that we all go to different schools, different parts of the country, different climates, all learning different curriculum. Yes, we're all still involved in the arts, but dance is a much different major than musical theater, which is a much different major than what I'm doing in management. And it's great, we all have these new life skills that we can take back here to a place that's taught us so much and teach it to a new generation.
Being at StarStruck during this time where there's a lot going on in the world has really opened my eyes to see how there's so much hope and how resilient the community can be, and a beacon of hope for those around us.
Typically, musical theater students are auditioning for summer stock shows and they're going out and doing musicals for the entire summer. But due to the current state of the world, that's not really possible. So having a theater to be able to still come to every day and get to be working on theater arts and working with children really makes this summer special.
Gavroche is a brand new musical. StarStruck is so lucky to be asked to do the world premiere of this musical.
The world premiere is basically the first time that this piece has ever seen a stage. So it's never been done on Broadway 30 years ago, or it hasn't had another production. We are the first people to ever put this production on a stage.
So it basically takes the characters, many of whom you already know from Les Mis, such as Eponine and Marius and the Thénardiers, and it takes these characters, but it focuses on all of the children of that time. So it tells the story of this period of time in Paris during the French Revolution through the eyes of the children. It's very much about the connection that these young people in Paris at the time have with one another. We are so proud to be working on the project with Bonnie and John Hoover, who wrote the book to Gavroche.
I play Gavroche in Gavroche. Gavroche is a scrappy street kid, and he got abandoned from his house when he was a baby, a kid, and now he's living on the streets.
Good morning, Paris, how'd you do? No place like Paris, through and through. And when you're lucky to live on the street, where the air is sweet, I forget to eat. Good morning, Paris, and everybody knows I'm by these
I play the role of Eponine, who is Gavroche's older sister and the daughter of the Thénardiers, and she plays almost a big sister role to so many different characters in the show. She's a bit of a pessimist, but she places all of her hope on Marius, who she meets in the streets and instantly falls in love with, and ends up dying for at the end of the show.
He could love me, he could love me not. No, he needs me, well, it's worth a shot. Meet the girl beyond the rise. He could love me.
I wanted wanted to do Gavroche because I wanted to experience what it would be like to be in the world premiere of a brand new show that had never been produced before. And I love the story of Les Mis. I grew up in a house where my family listened to the music of Les Mis on repeat, and the role of Eponine had always been something that I dreamed of playing, so when I got the opportunity to do it in a completely different setting, it was amazing.
So my role in Gavroche, I play Madame Thénardier. She is a slimy, thief, criminal. I absolutely love her. She's sassy in the best way. And even though she kind of is a bad person, she gets what she wants. So I respect that about her.
Yeah, don't you love it, dude?
Nothing like a soccer. Kids, go right outside. You're valuable.
Don't die.
Someone pass a crown for the last good people in this town. The last good people in this town. The last good people in this town. Shut up and put your hands up.
I wanted to do Gavroche because, of course I do every single production at StarStruck, and I love what I do. I love being an actor, but I also love working on new material because new material is what keeps art moving and flowing and growing, and we need new material to have new growth in the world of the arts and the world we live in today.
And there's an amazing, amazing scene with Enjolras and the way that this young man leads this group of rebels.
I will defend him from the storm. I will protect him through this night. He will live on to be the leader that we need beyond this fight. He will see justice, he'll see joy. Stand on the front lines of what's right. He will be
I wanted to do Gavroche because I've always been in love with the show Les Mis, and when I heard they were doing it in the eyes of the children, I was like, I have to do this because it's one of my favorite shows ever, so I was so excited to do it because the show really just touched my heart.
My role in Gavroche is Zelma. I am Gavroche's and Eponine's sister, along with the brats, Croissant and Grizzly. A brief description of Zelma. She's a very optimistic character. She wants the best for her life, her family. She's kind of a little bit different from her parents. Her parents are criminals. They're not great, but she wants a better life. She wants to go to America. She wants to start fresh. And she wants to start over. She wants to have a great life for her and her siblings.
Welcome to America. Walk the avenues prouder than thou. Difference in America. Watch us now. Better in America. Where we're loving and gentle and good. Happy in America.
I wanted to do the show Gavroche because I felt like it was a change from what I normally do at StarStruck, and every show I do at StarStruck is amazing, but I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try originating a role, and so far it's been amazing, and I love every minute of it.
My role in Gavroche is Rebel number 3 and the monk. Now the monk is a really important character. I mean, he's a minor character, of course, but he propels the plot because he gives Eponine, where Marius is so that she can pursue her long-lost love that doesn't return her feelings. I wanted to do Gavroche because as a world premiere, it gave me a chance to really show who I was because there were no people who had played this role before me, so I could originate it and I could treat it exactly how I wanted to without any pressures of anybody having played it before me.
In terms of the safety of our cast members and our production team, we had to sit down and figure out how we were going to restage a lot of the scenes. How do you create intimacy without people physically being next to each other or touching? And it could be as simple as, Eponine pushing a hair out of Marius's face, or when they bump into each other on the street. So the biggest challenge was, how do we create that intimacy?
Prep it so the red one's sticking out.
Yeah.
Good. You're walking in, now let that one drop.
Okay, wait. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, just drop it. No, it's just Richard. You dropped the book, right?
Yeah.
Drop the book.
Oh.
You dropped all of them.
I dropped all of
He
them.
dropped them all.
I dropped them all.
Hold it like this and
So
open it like
Emma,
crocodile
only
mouth.
you-
Be like,
Oh, I also grabbed the red one.
got you,
Good.
got you.
Excellent.
Crocodile mouth.
So you drop them all, Richard. She'll pick up the one that you haven't touched.
Right.
Cool.
I have an absolutely amazing choreographer, Rebecca Beery, and she and I spent a lot of time talking about how we were going to shift the choreography in a way that would still reflect the essence of the show.
5, 6, 7, go.
We started the week with having 2 casts. The cast was split so that we could have even more spacing, and then we realized we have enough stage to have everybody on stage still social distance. So from day 1, in which we hadn't seen the kids in about 10 weeks and they had to remember everything that they learned 10 weeks ago, to day 2, everything changed again, to day 3, everything changed again.
We found out that we're going into phase 2, which means theaters and places can now open at 50% instead of 25% capacity. And it goes into phase 2 on Friday, which is when our show opens. So,
On day 3, everything jumped into high gear to have that audience and that energy that the students crave and need to fully develop their characters and their show. That fire was finally there.
With phase 2, I think it's a whole new opportunity for us, because now more people are able to see what we've been doing over Zoom, and with the show that we were so close to finishing in March, and now we're able to finally show it to more people than we thought we would be able to, which I think is a great opportunity for us. And I'm really excited for the kids to be able to perform the show that they've been super excited about.
So one of the challenges that I'm currently working on and thinking about and processing is, what am I going to do with the masks? Am I going to have the ensemble keep their masks on the entire time? I have to see what that's going to not so much look like, because I'm not worried about that as much, but what it's going to sound like. I've actually thought about custom making masks that will match for my cast members to wear if I go with this, which means between now, which is Wednesday afternoon, and Friday, I have to find someone who can sew really, really fast. I was actually thinking about making them all red because there's a song called Wearing Red. And I also thought that the masks could be a cool look, whether they keep them on the whole time or not, because they are, after all, rebels. I do have something that I bought for all of you. It is something that you will wear during the show, and something that you can then keep as a memento of the show and of this insanely crazy period that we are all living through. So I actually had them custom made to signify wearing red. Is this the cutest ever? I think that what you are doing, to use Bonnie Gleicher's words, she said it's groundbreaking that, she's like, you're like the first theater in the country, is what she said this morning when I was meeting with her. I think there's going to be an article on Broadway World, maybe on Playbill.com. There already is.
On Broadway World, there already is.
So it's a really big deal. You guys are part of a really, really big deal. Doing this show is going to hopefully show other theaters, especially children's theaters, that there are safe ways to do things, and that you can have very high expectations of young people.
If we've got no leader,
then leading will do. We'll guard our republic.
Fire puffs in red, blood will shed, painted red. Out of bed, get up bed, wearing red.
StarStruck has helped me to execute my role as an artist during these challenging times because at the end of the day, it's open. So it's a place for both me and my peers to come and share our collective love of theater, of singing, of acting, of dancing during a time where we can't really do that anywhere else.
To be able to open up and put on our shows and our camps and bring students back into the space together, allow them to create and to express, it's giving our students and us as performers an outlet to feel the effects of this pandemic and let go of the angst of the world.
You know, I think about how lucky we are to be able to come into a performing arts space and all collaborate together. And there's so many other parts of the country that aren't that fortunate right now. And we get to create art. And that is truly beautiful.
StarStruck reopening during the pandemic has definitely helped me get a little bit back to normal. It's definitely stress relief for me to come here, and it always makes me happy when I'm at StarStruck, especially during this difficult time. It just makes everything better.
The excitement is finally coming back. With the kids, they're so passionate. Just to be able to work with them again, it's great.
They needed us as much as we needed them. Yeah. Really. We needed their energy to move forward, and I didn't realize that so much until not having it.
I feel very grateful that we get to keep on doing what we love, even though we have these certain circumstances.
I'm very thankful to Miss Jennifer Jones and Mr. Peter Jones for giving me an amazing creative output and a way to handle the pandemic and see my friends every day.
It was unbelievable to see human beings in one space, and for me, especially in a theatrical space, in a space that we built here 20 years ago in a children's theater that did not exist, and here we are telling stories about perseverance, because that is what Gavroche is ultimately about: holding on, not giving up, and persevering. And as a country and as a world, my prayer for the universe is that we can all hold on to those tenets and persevere and come out of this more connected and stronger than ever.